Since my current channel statistics are not at the level I would like at this stage, and I have a big free of videos coming out this month, I need a bit of a boost on this channel, I feel. The message I'll be presenting over the next month or so will get some attention, I'm being quite sure of that, but if someone starts on just those free videos, it's quite possible they'll be thrust into that situation cold with no idea what I'm talking about. If that's you, I hope you can follow the links to the Rainbow Series playlist, as I'm calling it, and start to understand my thought processes and logic. Even if you don't agree with them, there should be a link up in the card. If you just want to watch the big three and cut to the chase, however, here is a rundown of each of the videos and basically what I'm trying to say in them. Some of them are a bit hard to digest, so this might give you at least a general idea of what I'm trying to get at. Since I'm going to cover highly controversial topics which mention sin, understanding what sin is very important. In The Edge of Sin, I found a definition of what sin is which is far more detailed and explanatory than the simple, straightforward explanation found in the book of James. It still encapsulates the spirit of what is said in the book of James and what the Bible seems to be telling us. In this, I have defined sin as deliberately, for personal gain, perform an action or deed that negatively affects one or more individuals, be it directly or indirectly. In this I've also included abstaining, because technically if you abstain from helping someone, you are effectively aiding in the negative effects. I don't see it being too far from the original definition in James. In this, I gave my testimony and showed that whilst I'm far from perfect, I'm not ashamed of who I am and what my purpose is. I also explained what my studies were and what I think this means for my channel. Since my work was endorsed by some wonderful prophets, and they didn't admonish me for my work, either before I properly started the channel or afterwards, they called me up actually and congratulated me for it. I take it that the good Lord himself isn't disappointed with the way my studies have gone, and so supports me in this. I mean, that's some high praise, literally. This was a hard one, and I had a harrowing time with the editing because of it. It amazes me how much people just play down God to the point he seems small and insignificant. Something done not just by atheist denouncers, but by Christian fundamentalists. You may need a stiff drink for this one, because it quite frankly boggles the mind. And it points out the many ways God is made to look small, but in fact is bigger than we can ever comprehend. In a strange contradiction to the previous video, in this one I stated that whilst God is aware of so much going on in the universe, from the grandest of scales right down to the tiniest of measurements, he still pays attention to us and cares for us, because we are the center of this universe and his best design. This may be strange, but it's just one way to show how much he cares for us. Still, this is another hard one to sit through, so keep a drink available. This one wasn't meant to be part of the original list, but it's an interesting thought experiment that yielded some surprising results. It shows that whilst we may be tucking our heads under the book that we get all our knowledge from, as a species we are still remarkably aware of God and his angels in some form or another. Even if we don't believe, we still know there's something out there. This one was a nice segue from the last video, talking about how we are aware of God in this world, even when we don't believe in him, and looking at how close scientific discoveries are to teachings of the Bible. When we take a moment to think about it, it's quite amazing, and shows that just because we know how things are done, that doesn't mean God doesn't have a part to play. Just because you know how your favourite food is made doesn't stop you from eating it. Doesn't mean you can't eat it. That is unless you are a vegetarian. Gotta admit that. Plus, asking questions about the deep topics is the way we learn. So using a scientific method to look at God's work isn't, in the grand scheme of things, a problem. This is one of my pet peeves. People taking things out of context is the main reason for misunderstanding things. That, and people just making assumptions. That could be because they don't understand the concept. But to be honest, I go on a bit of a rant with this one, but hopefully the message gets through. If you don't understand the situation, then you can't understand the person. And that opens up all manner of problems when it comes to interpretations. As recent events in the UK government has pointed out. Doesn't mean you can get away with it though. I probably brought this one out a bit too early, but I found that the amount of people in this world who profess to be atheists and yet live their lives as good and loving people, it seemed unreasonable that God would cast them into the fires of the pit just because they didn't believe in him. So I did some digging around and checking the scriptures and saw that the stereotype he was going by doesn't always apply to modern non-believers. Somehow that just got lost in the midst of them being non-believers. I'll go into a lot of detail on that, but in short, if you're a horrible, selfish bully of a person, that means you don't believe in the message of Christ, which is goodwill for all. And therefore, if that is you, not believing in the message of Christ, of health, wealth, happiness to all, and goodwill to all men, then quite frankly, you deserve the fires of hell. Worship is a broad term that can be misused on occasions, but the fact that it can be so broadly used is a sign that God is nowhere near as picky as we might be given to believe. Humans are so varied by nature that we find it hard to conform to just one situation. Being able to express ourselves in worship is important, and there are so many ways to do it, and yet God still loves us for it. When drawing up this list, I didn't expect lockdown to be going on this long, so it might seem as though I was going mad when writing this one. Particularly if you bear in mind I originally called this essay Go Alice Go. But if you persevered, held your lunch down and ignored the marmot, the message of how living in the Word of God can change you into a completely different person to what you expect, hopefully will shone through. Bear in mind, this doesn't necessarily mean you're better or no matter worse than who you were. But the way you live your life, use your assets, and apply your skills, that is the important thing, and that is how it changes. I'm quite proud of it, because it was my first sport experiment I ever came up with. It was many years ago that I thought of it in the first place. So I spent some time working with it before applying to my studies here. After seeing someone point out the contradiction of loving and yet fearing God in the Bible, I thought it would be a good one to look into. To be honest, it wasn't an easy thing to study, particularly with the linguistic side of it, but since the chemical and electrical signals that govern our emotions and run through our bodies are hard to make sense of by us, and some reactions are almost identical regardless of circumstances, it seems likely that God understands we don't always respond to things like He intends or expects. So He allows the fear as well as love. The fact that there's a loose linguistic link is an interesting point, but not worth paying too much heed to. So I hope this clears up any confusion about what the heck I'm on about. If you find I'm still not making any sense, and the big three just don't make any sense at all, you can look at the relevant video. The playlist will be linked up in the card. Hopefully. Since this is some of the big videos and I'm giving it lots of hype, and as I say, the next few videos are on the Pride Month's main topics: homosexuality, same-sex marriage, and transgenderism. My studies have been long and hard on this, so I hope it's not in vain. Please join me over the next few weeks. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Share and subscribe to the channel. And also, certainly recommend this video to people who might be expecting the next videos to be interesting. I'm very aware these videos can be easily misconstrued, and I know for a fact I'm going to alienate something. It's just the way with cooking trumpets sometimes. Until then, stay safe, share the love, and God be with you.